Time now for Sid 6-0. This is where I had 60 seconds to talk with my face. Start the clock, please. Here's what's on my mind this morning. I know it's August. I know it's the dog days of summer. I know that drawing any strong conclusions at this point in any Major League Baseball season is foolish. And I know the Jays are in a playoff spot. I know they're 9 games above 500. And I know that's still a good place to be in the standings. I know this. But there was one specific stat that was floating around yesterday I cannot get out of my head. And it came courtesy of Keegan Matheson of MLB.com. He's been on the show before. He's great. He does a great job covering the Jays. Here's the tweet. Jays lose 7-2. He's referring to yesterday's game against Cleveland. They're 1-4 on this stretch against the Orioles and Guardians and drop to 30-40 against teams who are 500 or better. 30-40 against teams who have more wins than losses. I understand the Jays have 49 games left. But if they can't beat good teams, it's not going to end well for them. That, I know. Ben Nicholson-Smith of Sportsnet, he was on the radio call with Ben Wagner all weekend long against the Guardians at Rogers Center. Ben, good morning. Good to see you. 2 wins in the last 8 for the Jays. August blahs, or are you seeing something different?
Well, they have time left, like you said, but they don't have a big margin. And this is their chance to really create some separation between teams that are chasing them, because there are a lot of teams chasing them and they just haven't done it. So they need to change that trend really quickly against some good teams in the Orioles and Yankees coming up this week, because this is really important for them to get not only into the playoffs, but ideally you get some home field for the first round.
The one part of yesterday's loss at Rogers Center, Ben, that got me was here you have a series on the line. You split the first 2. They come out and put in one of the worst defensive efforts you are going to see from this team. Kevin Gausman didn't pitch that poorly, but didn't get a lot of help behind him. That's the kind of stuff, when I see it, I say to myself, all right, these are not the habits you want to be getting into as we approach September and the calendar. Am I overblowing that, or were you as concerned?
Well, you know, it certainly contributed to yesterday's loss. There's no question. I mean, Raimel Tapia overran that ball. That's a mistake by him. Biggio looked like he was going to make a play in right field and just didn't quite get there. Kirk had a rough game defensively. Now, the other thing is, this is a team that just isn't scoring runs. They scored 4 runs in the entire weekend against the Guardians, so they really need to get themselves going offensively too. And you're going to make mistakes, but if you're scoring 6 or 7, those things get overshadowed. So they really need to sharpen it up defensively. I agree, and they also need to start hitting.
George Springer, they're still waiting on him to come back. And the easy answer is Springer is the straw that stirs their drink offensively. And most people would agree with that, considering it passes the eye test and when you see the record with or without Springer in the lineup. But who else here, Ben, has to step up? I know Vladimir Guerrero's hit streak ended yesterday at 22. I'm going to leave him out of this. He's been playing pretty well. Who else in the lineup needs to get going here?
Yeah, I was instantly going to go to Kikuchi and Barrios, but if you're going with the lineup, then oh man, Bo Bichette would be the obvious one beyond Vladdy, because yeah, he's been good. He's been a good player. The Jays want him and need him to be a great player, and they would really benefit from that, because they could use just some more depth to that lineup on a day that Springer's resting or Vladdy is taking an over. You need to have someone else, and normally they do. But Bichette, is very capable of being that player for the Jays.
You mentioned Yusei Kikuchi, who goes tonight. Jays begin a 3-game series against the Orioles. It's a day game Wednesday, by the way, at Rogers Center. A little after 3 p.m. Eastern is when they start. The Orioles are the team eternally in the American League where even the thought of them finishing ahead of you means people lose their jobs. And I'm not exaggerating by that. This is not an organization people expect things from. This series specifically, and tonight with Kikuchi on the mound, who is not dependable at all, how big of an evening is this?
It's a big one. I think it is for sure. And this is a team that, is playing its best baseball in years. No exaggeration. This is the best the Orioles have looked in years, but they're still not the Yankees or Astros or Mets. No. They're really not. Like, I'm sorry. This is still a team that the Blue Jays should be capable of beating, even with Yusei Kikuchi on the mound. Get 4 or 5 from him. Have a good night from the bullpen. And again, you need that offense to do some damage, because the Orioles aren't throwing DeGrom and Scherzer out there. And so with respect to everything that they've done so far, this is a team that you can't get in your head about. I mean, they're a beatable baseball team. Even if they're much improved, which they are still not the 27 Yankees.
Jays Orioles kick off a series tonight. You can see it on Sportsnet. Ben Nicholson-Smith. Great stuff. These are going to be an interesting 49 games left in the schedule. Have a great day, sir.